Ladies and gentlemen, the word of the day is gentrification. Okay? The word of the day is gentrification. Now, I'm gonna look to my laptop because I want to read exactly what the term means so that you guys can understand my approach in this particular video. So, by definition, gentrification is a complex process of neighborhood change wherein the wealthier residents move into and renovate historically low income, often disinvested neighborhoods, leading to increased property values, rising rents, and the potential displacement of long-term low income residents. Now, why are we talking about gentrification, right? If you've lived in the United States for any particular time, or if you are an individual that comes from a lower income area wherein gentrification has taken place, you understand that you're being priced out of your area if that's where you're from, right? An area where you probably lived your whole life. You got people moving in, the restaurants change, the people change, the atmosphere changes, the environment changes, ultimately uprooting you and basically pushing you out because it makes it very, very difficult for you to be able to afford. Now, the reason I bring this up is because I often ask myself, when foreigners move to these quote unquote third world countries, we'll speak more specifically about the Philippines. When foreigners move to the Philippines, are we in essence, or in the sense of, or for the sake of this video, gentrifying the Philippines? Now, a lot of people look at you and be like, Doc, what the fuck is you talking about? Gentrification in the Philippines or gentrifying the Philippines? I mean, damn. Yes, there are a lot of foreigners moving into the country, but the country is so vast, it's so large, it's kind of rare that you see foreigners taking over a particular area and basically forcing the locals or the local Filipino people and moving them out. But I also bring up this as a valid, challenging point. Think about Boracay. We think about Bonifacio Global City, BGC, or areas where in the wealthy actually live. What was it like before the foreigners came in there? What was it like before the foreigners found a very, very beautiful place known as Siargao? If I'm saying that, I think it's Siargao. Yeah, where they surf, Siargao. If I'm wrong, comment section below. You know what I'm talking about, right? But there's this very, very popular surf destination in the Philippines. I think it's Siargao. SAIG. Fuck. Don't ask me how to spell it. I forgot. You just Google it, right? But I've seen many, many videos about foreigners, not just specifically American, Australian, etc. It could be anybody moving into this area and kind of changing the dynamic of the area, right? Changing the prices of the area. You're spending your money, your US dollars, your foreign currency, excuse me, wherever you're from, and it starts to change the vibe of the area and the vibe of the people, right? Before all these foreigners found this particular place, I'm pretty sure prices of things were very, very affordable. Getting around was very, very affordable. Things of that nature was very, very affordable for your everyday average local Filipino. But when these foreigners move in, you start to realize the prices at restaurants go up. The prices of travel go up. The prices of living, specifically, finding a place to live, dwelling, property, it goes up. Or you get priced out. So when we talk about foreigners moving to the Philippines, is there an ideal or an ideology that eventually, I do not, in my personal opinion, I do not believe that so many foreigners are going to move, it pushes out the local people, but is there a potential chance that foreigners moving to the Philippines is going to ultimately gentrify the country and basically price people out of the area in the general sense? Now, of course, we have the smaller areas like where I'm living at, or where I prefer to live at, more specifically in Davao City. You're probably not going to have too much of that issue because there's a lot of rural area, the Mindanao region, and of course these travel restrictions or travel warnings for foreigners going into these particular areas. You're probably not going to see as many foreigners there as you might see in a place like Manila and or Cebu, right? You're just not likely to see it. But I do raise the question, do foreigners basically gentrify the country if we're moving into certain areas, right? Talked about before, BGC, Bonifacio Global City, Siargao, Boracay. Like, you see many, many, many foreigners there. It's a very popular travel destination. We can also throw Palawan in there as well, El Nido, in places like that. How they become these popular travel destinations, eighth wonders of the world, and all of this good jazz. And it's basically the question that I'm asking, I guess I should say, is what are we doing to the local community in that particular area? Are we basically pricing them out of their own area because all these foreigners are coming into a particular location and basically spending their money, and it's raising the price of everything? Because the price today is not likely to be the price tomorrow, right? The price tomorrow is not likely to be the price 2 or 3 years down the road. Again, that comes with just the development of any particular area, any particular country or neighborhood, gentrifying that particular neighborhood. That just comes with the process. You're going to spend more money because they're going to renovate, they're going to add new places, they're going to probably add popular places that foreigners like to eat, or at least places where, you know, they can serve food that foreigners like. And that's going to end up leading to these like I said, not necessarily pricing out or getting rid of the local community, but at the same time, putting the local community on notice. Like, hey, this is no longer our area anymore. I don't think Filipinos appreciate that very much. I mean, anybody being gentrified probably wouldn't appreciate that very much. But at the same time, you have to think about it. We come to the country because it's cheap. Let's be real. We come to the Philippines because it's a cheap place to live for us in our US dollar or whatever foreign country's currency that you're using, right? And that doesn't mean that because I'm saying it's a cheap place to live, it's bad. No, cheap is great because our money goes a lot further and we can spend a lot better. The price of something in the United States, for example, may be a fraction of the cost of that exact same thing or exact same experience in the Philippines. And because of that, you'll see a lot more people influxing, going into the country like that. Now, price of the same goods and services, etc., that once were probably a couple years ago, you look at it now, definitely changed. When I first moved to the Philippines, I'll give you a quick example. There used to be aircon and non-aircon taxis, right? I think the non-aircon taxis, I can't remember what they started at, but it was very cheap, man. It was nothing. Maybe it started at 50 pesos every few kilometers or so. It would go up like 2 pesos, 50 centavos or something like that. Nowadays, and now again, that was starting at maybe 50 if I'm mistaken. I don't know. Anyway, something like that. But now you get into the taxis now. I could very well be wrong. I'm trying to remember back years ago. Work with me. But nowadays, I think taxi meters start at 50, 60, 70 pesos off the rip. And then every kilometer, a few kilometers or so, it goes up maybe 5 pesos or 4 pesos, 50 centavos, 3 pesos, 50 centavos. And that meter be running crazy, right? So you see how the typical mode of transportation, not all Filipinos are using that, of course. But at the same time, a mode of transportation that I found to be cheap once upon a time when I got there, now all of a sudden, it's just not the same. Again, that comes with the process. I'm not going to necessarily, excuse me, say that has to do anything specifically with a whole bunch of foreigners moving in, so we got to raise the price of taxis. But in all actuality, for the most part, if you think about it, what group of individuals are likely using taxis more often than the local community? If we just have to call it out for what it is, right? Local community, jeepneys, if they got their own motorbikes, things of that nature, that's what they're using, right? Cheaper modes of transportation. But with that being said, I do have to ask the question, and I'm definitely interested to hear what you guys got to say. Do you believe that foreigners moving in to Philippines, any other third world country, call Thailand out if you want to, whatever you want to throw up in there. I'm not going to just basically limit it specifically to the Philippines, but because the Philippines is what I know, it's kind of what I wanted to lean towards in this particular video. But if you've ever been to another area where you feel like foreigners are basically gentrifying the area, or they're bringing themselves over in droves and it's causing the cost to go up in any capacity, I would definitely be interested to hear what you guys got to say. Man, time, effort, and energy. Appreciate y'all liking it, man. It's been a good time, man. Y'all take care. Y'all stay blessed, man. Doc is out.